Stop scrolling for a moment. If you are a grieving dad who's lost a child, feeling alone, searching for answers, and find yourself regularly going through your phone, hoping something will make sense of what has happened to you, you've landed on the right video. I know how you're feeling. I've been there exactly where you are, and I want to talk to you about something that has been sitting with me for quite a while as a dad who has lived this from the inside. This is a 3-part series. In this first part, I'm going to talk to you about who this is for and what is actually happening to you. In part 2, I'm going to walk you through the 5 mistakes most grieving dads make, including every single one of them I made myself, and show you why the most common forms of support often leave a crucial gap. And in the third part, I'm going to show you what the solution actually looks like and what the proof says about whether it works. Now, my son was born on the 27th of April, 2005, and he was born asleep. He was perfect in every way, but he was just not alive. In the hours after his birth, I made a quiet promise that I would not let his life go unacknowledged, that I would find a way to honor his very short stay with us. It took me a very long time to understand what that actual promise meant in practice, and this series is part of that promise to my son. If you are watching this and you have lost a child at any stage, whether it was a miscarriage or a stillbirth, or a child perhaps who's lived months, weeks, years, even an adult child, I want you to know that this is for you. There is no hierarchy in grief here. No loss is too small or too long ago to matter. Now, here's what I know about you, even though we've never met. You are most likely back to work. You are the person others lean on. You look like you're holding things together, and in many ways you are, because that's what you've always done. But underneath that, something's not quite right. You're tired in a way that no amount of sleep can fix. You feel a kind of hollowness that you cannot quite explain to the people around you. And the heaviest part of all of this is that most people around you stopped asking how you're doing, how you're holding up, a long time ago. They check on your partner, which is understandable, and they ask about the family, but they rarely stop and ask about you. Just you. That is what I mean when I talk about a grieving dad feeling invisible. And there are 2 reasons for this invisibility. The first one is the world has moved on. The cards have stopped coming. The calls have slowed down. Life around you resumes at its normal pace, and you find yourself standing still when everything else has kept moving. The second reason is something to do with yourself, even if you did not realize it. Somewhere along the way, you decided that silence was the safest option, that talking would make things worse for your partner, for your family, for the people at work, for those around you. So you stayed contained, you performed, you pretended, and you looked calm on the outside while fighting something very heavy on the inside. And here's the fear that sits underneath all of that, the one that very few dads ever say out loud. If I open up, I might not be able to pull it back together again, and I cannot afford to fall apart because there are people out there depending on me. So I keep going. I keep holding it together. Now that is not weakness. That is what grief does to a man who has never been given a roadmap to navigate. What I have come to understand after losing Hashim and after many years of carrying this in exactly the way I just described is that what a grieving dad actually needs more than anything else is to be seen, is to be heard, is to be validated for his grief by someone who has actually been where he is, who understands the silence, who does not need an explanation, and who will not flinch when the name of a child comes up. That is the foundation of everything I built with StillDad. In part 2 of this series, I'm going to walk through the 5 mistakes that most grieving dads make, including every one of them I made myself, and show you why the most common form of support, as good as they are, often leaves a crucial gap that nobody talks about. I don't want you to go through this alone. Getting some form of support, being part of a small community, matters more than most dads realize until they're already part of one. If the only thing you do today is leave your name and email address using the link somewhere below, that is enough. You will start receiving weekly insights and experiences shared by another dad who has lived this experience, landing privately into your inbox with nothing asked of you in return.